Folks, welcome to episode 27 of the Taylor Tax Show. This is the podcast for high profile, highly paid, highly taxed, high net worth and ultra high net worth taxpayers who want to save a bunch on taxes legally. So I'm Terrence Taylor. I'm the co-founder of Taylor Tax. I'm an enrolled agent. And this is my partner, Big Al Darnell Jr. How you doing today, Big Al?
Hey man, all is well, y'all. I'm Big Al and I love my mama.
All right, fantastic. This episode, we are going to look at taxes and retirement savings, and this is level 3. This level looks at what are the strategies that are legal for ultra high net worth taxpayers who have a bunch of money, and unfortunately, what's available for level 1 and level 2 in retirement and taxes is not available or is not sufficient, because it is available to them, but it's not sufficient. So the definition that we're using here, folks who have about 30 million or thereabouts in net worth, right? So, Big Al, one of the things that we discussed as we prepared for this is the fact that those 6 levers that we told folks about that you could use to save a bunch on taxes legally actually apply when it comes to level 3 and those folks who are ultra high net worth taxpayers. So what would be great is for us to go through each of those levers, those 6 levers, and share with folks. Yes, I can speak English, folks. 6 levers and share with folks what are the key legal tax strategies that could help with retirement savings and help people to save a bunch on taxes and also have a bunch of money available in retirement. So those 6 levers, again, folks, just to frame them, are starting your own business, investing in real estate, using insurance strategically, doing estate planning, doing strategic gift giving, and starting a private equity fund to make investments in whatever assets float your boat. So Big Al and I are going to ping back and forth with each other in terms of which of those levers we cover. So Big Al, let's start with starting your own business or a small business or a big business and how that helps ultra high net worth individuals save on retirement taxes.
Definitely. Well, great. And I'm glad that you framed it that way. With this level 3, we're talking about ultra high net worth, which means that you've got liquid assets of $30 million or more. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, when you're thinking about retirement for somebody that's operating in that realm, financial realm, we're not thinking about, hey, I need to make an extra even $50,000 or $100,000 per month. We're thinking those that might need $1 million or more per month just to live their current lifestyle. So with that being said, a lot of times when you make it to that level, it's not because you've got, well, some people, it's mainly either through real estate or business. And we're talking about business right now. And with your business, if you have a business that's worth over $10 million, all right, and you can get your business valued by, business appraisers and things of that nature. But if you have a business that's worth over $10 million, the retirement aspect of that is to either pinch it into smaller businesses and work out a situation where you can get paid from each one of those, or number 2, to consider selling it. Pinching it, splitting it into several businesses is if you don't want to sell it. Splitting it or containing it into one business is, man, I lost my train of thought, brother.
Selling it as a business is where you
Thank you.
want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Selling it. By selling your business, there's a strategic way or structured approach of selling your business so that you can continue to get paid on it over time. And one of those things, I have a client doing it right now. We have a client doing it right now where they're getting installment payments over time. And you can set these installment payments up for a year, multiple years, or you can bring them on as an equity partner where everything fizzles out. Your interest fizzles out by the time you make it to 90 years old or whatever that age is. So that's the high level view of how to save for retirement for ultra high net worth with starting a business.
Excellent, Big Al. Thank you for that. I really love that creativity around the installments especially because from a tax point of view, you can structure those in a way as well where it's tax advantage, right? So
Yep.
that's
All
great.
day.
Folks, I'm going to cover looking at investing in real estate. So one of my favorite things that I'm learning a lot about and hoping to do a lot more with. The beautiful thing about real estate as a retirement vehicle is when you invest in a property, as long as your property has equity in it, you can borrow against that equity. You could do refinancing, and borrowing against that equity through a refi, for example, gives you tax-free money. And based on the fact that we're talking about ultra high net worth individuals, the opportunity to buy properties that are worth millions of dollars is available to folks who have this much money at your disposal. So buy property, refinance it, and pull out cash. And that cash in your hand is tax free. And the beautiful thing is, over time, as the property continues to appreciate in value, rinse and repeat. So imagine someone who has 30 million in liquid assets buying a property, for argument's sake, that's valued at 10 million, and they put up 25% of that, so 2.5 million. Over time, they'll be able to borrow against that 10 million property, and that property, as it continues to appreciate in value, allows them to keep refinancing and pulling out even more million, to the point where they would have pulled out more than 2.5 million and not paid any tax on that. So Big Al, that's number two. Let me also cover number three, using insurance strategically. So this is one of my favorite topics, because the more you learn about the tax code, the more you realize that insurance is really, really the most flexible instrument that the tax code gives us to save. We've already covered insurance, for example, with estate taxes, or planning for estate taxes, and how you reduce taxes for that. You could use similar things when it comes to insurance for your retirement savings. So imagine, again, having the amount of money that a ultra high net worth individual has, and finding an insurance policy. So we'll use the same example of, you have this asset that's worth 10 million, and you go out and you get a life insurance policy to cover this asset because you have an insurable interest. So now you pay premiums into this life insurance policy, and as long as you do life insurance policies that have cash value, so whether whole life or variable life or universal life, or my favorite, index universal life policies, you're now in a position where in the insurance policy you have cash value, and because you have a death benefit that most likely covers the insurable interest of 10 million or thereabouts, you can borrow money against the loan. I mean, you can take policy loans against the death benefit, and then those policy loans in your hands, again, are tax free. And the beautiful thing is, if it's structured properly, that money comes to you as income in your retirement. You don't pay any taxes on it, and you don't have to necessarily pay the loan back, because when you die, then the death benefit will settle whatever the policy loans are. So Big Al, those are two of my favorites. Let's look at estate planning.
Definitely, definitely. So when it comes to estate planning, a lot of things that you're talking about are trusts. All right. And because you often hear that term together, trusts and estates. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So with a trust, there's several different types of trusts, and these trusts are meant to hold and protect assets.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we a while back we did a series on how U.S. presidents were taxed. All right, there's one in
Mm-hmm.
particular that I got this idea from. It was Mitt Romney. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
Mitt Romney, he and his wife had at least four different trusts set up where they paid them dividends and interests in
Mm-hmm.
the multiple millions every single year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there was one trust I believe that paid him $900,000 a year, another one 1.2 or $1.3 million a year. So what you can do is you could set up trusts, because once you're talking about $30 million or more in liquid assets, even if you were to put it in an irrevocable trust, because you know you're not going to need that anymore and you're just living off of the interest, you can lock up, let's just say, certain assets, whether they be buildings or companies or anything else inside of this irrevocable trust. because you've given your children or whoever going to inherit it instructions on how to unlock it and everything else after you pass. Um, you've rendered, you've given up control, put it in there. It's earning interest, and then it pays you interest. And now, by earning interest or dividends, if they're long-term dividends, are only taxed at 15%. Short-term dividends, or whatever your tax rate is. But then with interest, you don't have to worry about capital gains in the event of a sale or anything of that nature. But that's what I would suggest from an estate planning standpoint for somebody at that level, to
Mm-hmm.
insert your assets into a trust. There's different types of trusts that aren't associated with your personal tax return, but that can pay you enough money to have whatever lifestyle you want afterwards. And then let me jump into strategic gift giving, or did you want to jump in?
Oh, if you don't mind, let me jump in quickly. So the series we did looking at the presidential candidates, we did also then take a look at previous presidential elections, and that's where we looked at Mitt Romney as a presidential candidate. So folks, don't freak out. As far as we know, Mitt Romney has not been president of the U.S. yet.
Oh, that's right. Hey, thanks for that clarification. Yeah,
Right?
presidential candidates.
Presidential candidate. And
Hopeful.
then one thing that you touched on with estate planning, which is a nice connection with life insurance, is the Rockefeller waterfall method.
Correct.
So for ultra high net worth individuals who have 30 million in liquid assets or more, this is something that you should definitely consider. Imagine having policies on family members who then, as you know, the policies are structured in such a way that the beneficiary is a family trust, and that family trust then becomes a family bank through which you can borrow policy loans for retirement income and for any investments or projects you have in retirement. So the Rockefeller waterfall method is another powerful way through estate planning to plan for retirement. And Big Al, tell us about strategic gift giving.
All right, strategic gift giving. All right, so the thing is, we all know that the currently, as we currently stand for 2024, the lifetime gift exclusion is 13.61 million. So now between you and your spouse, if you have a spouse, by the time you enter in retirement, which is kind of not happening that much with a lot of billionaires, but anyways, in that situation combined, that's like 27, $28 million. But we're not talking about giving the money away, just giving it away. We're talking about how you can utilize strategic gift giving to live through your retirement. Now,
Mhm,
here's the thing: is that all these other parameters that we're talking about, they're going to create liquidable events in times
mhm,
where you're going to have a huge inflow of money. So strategically, you want to have a private family foundation set up so that there are strategic ways that you can gift to the private family foundation and incur the write-off for the benefit of not paying taxes on other streams of income that are coming in, so that we can net it out to zero paid in taxes. And the
mhm,
other thing I'll mention, without getting too deep in the weeds, because there's a lot of things that we could talk about with strategic gift giving, is a charitable remainder trust. So now let's just say that you have some sort of asset, whether it's a home uh, or your ownership shares of ownership in a business or other stocks and things of that nature. Let's just say it's worth $1 million. All right. So you can donate that to a charitable remainder trust. And how that works is that the charitable remainder trust, I believe, has to divvy or has to pay out 5% of any of the value of the trust every single year. But no, I believe, and then it pays you out. It pays you out 5% every single year for the next 20 years, and then whatever the remainder is, and I believe the remainder has to be a minimum of 8 to 12%, is paid out to the charity of your choosing. So you can put $1 million in there and live off of, I guess, what, $50,000 worth of income off of for the next 20 years, or you could put in $10 million and live off of $500,000 worth of income for the next 20 years. But that's all I got for the strategic gift giving side of things.
Hey, thanks for that, Big Al. And just to check with you, the 13.61 million, is that the amount for the gift, or is that the amount for the estate?
For the gift,
For
yeah,
the
for
gift.
the
Okay.
Lifetime
Fantastic.
gift tax
Lifetime
exemption.
gift
Yep.
tag. Okay, fantastic. And then, folks, last but not least, private equity. So if you're ultra high net worth individual with 30 million of investable or liquid assets, you should set up a private, or not you should, you could, right? Because we're not trying to give you investment advice. You could set up a private equity fund and through your private equity fund, make investments in whatever asset class really floats your boat. So some of you may want to do this with real estate. Some of you may want to do this with startups. And the good news is when your investments work out or when you get that outlier that works out, the taxes are going to be capped at long-term capital gains rates based on the carried interest provision. So that allows you to save a bunch on your taxes legally. All right, folks. So this was a short segment to just share with you ideas around how you could use the tax code and save for retirement in a tax advantaged way if you're ultra high net worth tax individual. Big out. We'll see them next week. Thank you, folks. See you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.